Hi, my name's Virago. Welcome to my very first book blog. I very recently discovered BookTube, and I am slowly but surely descending the deep, dark rabbit hole that is BookTube. It looked like so much fun that I decided to take myself out of my comfort zone and give it a try. Uh, don't expect a lot from this channel, at least not in the very beginning. I don't even have a real webcam, let alone a professional-ish type camera with a tripod, and I don't know anything about video editing and angles and lighting and any of that stuff. But this was just something for me to do for fun, to take myself out of my comfort zone, because I'm not really comfortable being in front of the camera getting my picture taken, let alone doing a video. But like I said, this looked like something that was fun. So, to start off, 2019 has been a very dismal reading year for me. I had such high hopes. I have incredible goals. Not incredible goals. My goals for me, as a person who has a job and a husband and children and animals and friends and family and just other things that I have to do, I think it's pretty feasible to do a book a week. Now, in a good month, I can do several books a week. But um, I don't always have good months. So for 2019, I have not read very much, and it's really bothering me, so I'm trying to get myself out of that slump. Last week was Dewey's 24-hour readathon. I participated in that. That did help me get out of the slump somewhat. I read 3 or 4 books to completion, so that really made me feel good. So I figured my first video to start off with, I would just pick up from the TBR list that I did not complete for the readathon. I always give myself a large pile of books to choose from, so that I have, options. I like to have options. I'm a mood reader, so I like to have a little bit of everything to choose from, depending on where my mood goes. So, first book on that TBR that I did not get to was Two Boys Kissing by David Levithan. Now, this book has been on my shelf for a little while, and I did try reading this book a couple of years ago, a year ago. I'm not sure exactly what year it was. And I had very recently read another book by David Levithan that I absolutely love. So I'm like, oh, let's keep going. Let's keep it going, especially with the queer content. I'm a big fan of anything LGBTQ. And I thought, oh, this will be great. When I first started reading it, I couldn't get past the first 10, 15 pages. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the writing style. I don't know if it's the format. I have no idea what it is, but I really struggled to get through this. So I figured it'd been a little while. I put it back on my list. Now, I've been trying to read this on my commute to work and during my breaks and on my commute home from work. As I don't drive, I commute via public transportation. And I've really been struggling with this book again. So I don't think it's me. I just think it's something with this book. But I am going to continue to try to get through this book. I want to get through this book before the end of April, let alone before the end of the year. I just want to finish it. I'd heard good things about it, so, it's got to get better at some point, right? So I'm going to keep trying. Second book on that list is Less Than Zero by Brent Easton Ellis. This is a book that I just discovered existed. I am a child of the 80s, and I am a very big fan of the movie Less Than Zero. If you haven't seen it, please do. It stars a young Robert Downey Jr., Andrew McCarthy, and Jamie Gertz. And it's about Clay, who has come home from Christmas vacation from college, and he's trying to reconnect with his girlfriend and his best friend, played by Robert Downey Jr., who has basically become a hustler and a heroin addict. It's a very interesting story, and the funniest thing is, when I first watched the movie, I didn't like it. It took like the second and the third watching of it for me to really, really love the movie. Now I absolutely love the movie, so when I found out that it was actually based on a book, I'm like, oh my god, I have to read this book. So, I got this off of Book Swap, and it actually came right before the readathon, so I threw it in my pile. I just didn't get to it, so hopefully I will get to it before the end of April. Next book is Black Hole Sun by David McGinnis Gill. I remember seeing this book on Book Outlet, and something about the blurb drew me in. But the blurb that's currently on Book Outlet for it is really not interesting, but it's got dystopian, it's got sci-fi, Mars, space. It's pretty much got everything that I love. So I remember being super duper excited about it, and when I was able to get a copy of it, I was so excited. So I know that it's going to be good, and I'm looking forward to reading it because this actually also came right before the readathon. So, but I had other things that were higher up on my priority list of things to read. So, this I'm going to get to hopefully this month. Next is American Born Chinese by Jean Luen Yang, and if I butchered that name, I apologize. I also have a name that is frequently butchered, but sometimes words are hard. This is something that I can identify with. The protagonist of this is basically someone who is a person of color who just wants to fit in and be an all-American kid. And, you know, as a woman of color, you know, I do remember feeling like that. I just wanted to fit in and just be like everybody else, you know, be my own self, but I didn't want to be seen as different. I just wanted people to see me for who I was. So, you know, I can totally relate to that. And it's a graphic novel, and the art looks adorable, so I'm really looking forward to reading this. So, the next book on my list is Volume 2 of Lumberjanes. This is actually a series that I learned of from someone who does a booktube, and she participates in Dewey's 24-hour readathon. It sounded interesting. I thought actually I would really like it for my daughter, who is part of the LGBTQ community, and it does have LGBTQ themes in it, and it's also just got adventures and shenanigans and girl power, and it just, I read the first volume, didn't love it as much as I thought I would, but I did enjoy it, so I figured I would continue on with the volumes. And last but not least, on my former Dewey's TBR is Evil Dead Army of Darkness Omnibus Volume 2. Huge fan of the Evil Dead series, huge fan of Bruce Campbell and all his work, and in the last 5 or so years I've become a very huge fan of comics and graphic novels. So you mix all that together, and what's not to want to read about it? What's not to love? What's not to be excited about? The first volume I read actually for last October's 24-hour readathon, and I absolutely loved it, and I don't know what's taken me so long to get to this one, but I will get to it before April. And that is it for my former Dewey's 24-hour TBR, the stuff that I didn't get to for the actual readathon. My goals for this channel is just to have fun and maybe make some new bookish friends so that I can actually have people to discuss books with. Both of my children are readers, but we don't read the same stuff. So kind of when we talk about books to each other, it's more like the one person is talking and the other one is just like, that's great. That's not, like, there's not a whole lot of, you know, back and forth and feedback. So I'm hoping to make some bookish friends that I can talk to outside of the odd comment on a review that I leave, or me leaving a comment on somebody else's review. And I also just want to have fun. So anybody who has suggestions or ideas for what I can do for my book blog, by all means, leave them in the comments. If you have any constructive criticism, as this is my first time doing any kind of a video, vlog, anything like that, this at all, by all means, leave them. If you're going to be nasty, you can just move on to the next one because I don't got time for that. You'll probably hear from me in this blog a lot about everything that doesn't have to do with books. You'll probably see my animals a lot. You'll probably hear my phone going off because I'm not going to turn it off. And you'll probably, more than likely, hear my children carrying on in the background in their rooms. So, hopefully I'm a little bit interesting, and hopefully I'm rambling now. Any comments, any suggestions, any constructive criticism you have for me, I will take it all. And if you want to be friends, that would be really, really awesome too. I don't do Goodreads, but I have a book likes blog. I do WordPress. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. And I will figure out how to link all that stuff in the description of the video, and hopefully, you know, we can make friends. And hope you like this video. Bye!